Hey guys, what's up? It's Panda Power for a new video, and today I would like to talk about the metaverse. Personally, the first time I heard about it was 1 week ago. I know I'm late. I was reading an article somewhere about the Unreal Engine version 5 and its wonderful graphic capabilities. Oh yeah. Wow. Amazing. Gorgeous. Sorry. When the author was doing a direct link with the metaverse, a kind of new internet that could change our lives for real. Because I'm curious, I read some other articles and it's weird, but I didn't find any videos on the internet explaining exactly what it is, by giving some concrete examples on how it will affect my day to day. Then I decided to do this video and share the information I was able to grab so far on the topic with you. Honestly, everything is really vague for now, so that's why I decided to go deeper and group everything I found in this video. So guys, if you're ready and willing to learn more about the next version of our very old internet, it's time to talk about the metaverse. Ever since Neil Stephenson's 1992 science fiction novel Snow Crash, geeks, dorks, and nerds have all been referencing the metaverse as a dreamy virtual domain that is free of physical constraints and societal status, filled with boundless possibilities limited only by your imagination and creativity. While the word itself may have lost its original impact throughout the years, becoming treat for many sounding reminiscent of corny 90s catchphrases like cyberspace, it is in fact the reason many were attracted to the industry in the first place. Indeed, in its absence, the meaning, significance, and role of this emerging tech dries up considerably. Since the late 1970s and early 1980s, many of those in the technology community have imagined a future state of, if not quasi successor to, the internet called the metaverse. And it would revolutionize not just the infrastructure layer of the digital world, but also much of the physical one, as well as all the services and platforms, how they work, and what they sell. Although the full vision of the metaverse remains hard to define, seemingly fantastical and decades away, the pieces have started to feel really real. And as always with this sort of change, its arc is as long and unpredictable as its end state is recreative. To this end, the metaverse has become the newest macro goal for many of the world's tech giants. And just to let you know, it is the express goal of Epic Games, maker of the Unreal Engine and Fortnite. It is also the driver behind Facebook's purchase of Oculus VR and its newly announced Horizon virtual world meeting space, among many, many other projects, such as AR glasses and brain to machine communications. The tens of billions that will be spent on cloud gaming
Wow.
over the next decade, too, is based on the belief that such technologies will underpin our online offline future. Let me show you how Facebook is seeing the metaverse with this video.
Beyond our world, there's another world. And it's right here, on my face. Welcome. This is Horizon. Think of me as your guide / self-appointed spokes avatar, here to show you around. You know, Horizon is filled with possibilities. You can play stuff, make stuff, fly stuff. Whoa! Really love the stash, Stuart.
What up, Stuart?
Wait, I want a mustache. Horizon isn't about rules or limits or pants. Or people telling you not to fly an airplane while drinking your fresh ground, fair trade, French press morning coffee through a curly straw. Isn't that right, Debbie?
Mm-hmm.
It's about getting out there and trying new things, making your mark, making friends with an Australian named Mark.
Oh, actually, I'm from New Zealand.
And you can even build a world of your own, like laser tag moon landing. Or this islandy place with these cutie patooties. Boop. In Horizon, the world is your lobster.
Isn't it oyster?
That too. So come, join us. A never-ending, ever-changing world beyond your world is waiting! Debbie gets it!
Wow.
As a global definition, we can say metaverse is part of the natural evolution and extension of how we connect with computation, with each other, and with the world around us. The last several years have seen a proliferation of interaction paradigms that are moving out of pure research and are unified through the metaverse. And as this happens, we want positive actors in the space, ones that put people first. This has the potential to truly empower learning, creative expression, critical thinking, and connection across the globe. The most common conceptions of the metaverse stem from science fiction. Here, the metaverse is typically portrayed as a sort of digital jacked-in internet, a manifestation of actual reality, but one based on a virtual, often theme park-like world. And while these sorts of experiences are likely to be an aspect of the metaverse, this conception is limited in the way movies like Tron portrayed the internet as a literal digital information superhighway of bits. We can define the metaverse towards 7 key concepts. First, the persistency, which is to say it never resets or pauses or ends. It just continues indefinitely. Second point, synchronous and live. Even through pre-scheduled and self-contained events will happen, just as they do in real life. The metaverse will be a living experience that exists consistently for everyone and in real time. The third point is have no real cap to concurrent participations with an individual sense of presence. Everyone can be part of the metaverse and participate in a specific event-placed activity together at the same time and with individual agency. The fourth point is be a fully functioning economy. Individuals and businesses will be able to create, own, invest, sell, and be rewarded for an incredibly wide range of work that produces value that is recognized by others. The fifth point is be an experience that spans both the digital and physical worlds, private and public networks experiences, and open and closed platforms. As a sixth point, offer unprecedented interoperability of data, digital items, assets, content, and so on across each of these experiences, like your Counter-Strike gun skin, for example, could also be used to decorate a gun in Fortnite or be gifted to a friend on through Facebook. Similarly, a card designed for Rocket League or even for Poch's website could be brought over to work in Roblox. Today, the digital world basically acts as though it were a mall, where though every store used its own currency, required proprietary ID cards, had proprietary units of measurement for things like shoes or calories and different dress codes, etc. The seventh point, that is the characteristic of metaverse, is being populated by content and experiences created and operated by an incredibly wide range of contributors, some of whom are independent individuals, while others might be informally organized groups or commercially focused enterprises. There are a few other ideas that may be core of the metaverse, but are not widely agreed upon. One of these concerns is whether participants will have a single consistent digital identity or avatar that they will use across all experiences. This would have practical value, but it's probably unlikely as each of the leaders in the metaverse era will still want their own identity systems. Today, for example, there are a few dominant icon systems, but none have exhaustive coverage of the web, and they often stack atop one another with only limited data sharing access. As an example, your iPhone is based around an iOS account. Then you might log into an app using your Facebook ID, which itself is your Gmail account. There is also disagreement on how much interoperability is required for the metaverse to really be the metaverse, rather than just an evolution of today's internet. Many also debate whether a true metaverse can have a single operator, as is the case in Ready Player One, the movie. Some believe the definition and success of the metaverse requires it to be a heavy, decentralized platform built mostly upon community based standards and protocols like the open web, and an open source metaverse OS or platform. This doesn't mean there won't be dominant closed platform in the metaverse. Another idea relates to the fundamental communication architecture of the metaverse. While today's internet is structured around individual servers talking to one another on an as needed basis, some believe the metaverse needs to be wired and operated around a persistent many to many connections. But even here, there's no consensus around exactly how this would work, nor the degree of decentralization required. The value of being a key participant of such a system is self-evident. There is no owner of the internet today, but nearly all of the leading internet companies rank among the 10 most valuable public companies on earth. And if the metaverse does indeed serve as a functional successor to the web, only this time with even greater reach, time spent, and more commercial activity, there's likely to be even more economic upside. Regardless, the metaverse should produce the same diversity of opportunity as we saw with the web. New companies, products, and services will emerge to manage everything from payment processing to identity verification, hiring, ad delivery, content creation, security, and so on. This in turn will mean many present-day incumbents and likely to fall. More broadly, the metaverse tends to alter how we allocate and monetize modern resources. For centuries, developed economies have transformed as the scarcity of labor and real estate waxed and waned. Under the metaverse, would-be laborers who choose to live outside cities will be able to participate in the high-value economy via virtual labor. As more consumer spending shifts to virtual goods, services, and experiences, we'll also see further shifts in where we live, the infrastructure that's built, and who perform which tasks. Considering Fortnite as a video game or interactive experience is to think too small and too immediate. Fortnite began as a game, but it quickly evolved into a social square. Its players aren't logging in to play, but to be with their virtual and real world friends. Teenagers in the 1970s to 2010s would come home and spend 3 hours talking on the phone. Now they talk to their friends on Fortnite, but not about Fortnite. Instead, they talk about school, movies, sports, news, boys, girls, and more. After all, Fortnite doesn't have a story or IP. The plot is what happens on it and who is there. Furthermore, Fortnite is rapidly becoming a medium through which other brands' IP and stories express themselves. Most famous, this includes last year's live Marcello concert. However, such examples have rapidly expanded since. In December 2019, Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker released a clip of the hotly anticipated film exclusively in Fortnite as part of a larger in-game audience interactive event that included a live interview with director J.J. Abrams. What's more, this event was explicitly referenced in the opening moments of the film. To this end, Fortnite is one of the few places where the IP of Marvel and DC intersects. You can literally wear a Marvel character's costume inside Gotham City while interacting with those wearing legally licensed NFL uniforms. This sort of thing hasn't really happened before. But it will be critical for the metaverse. Now all that stuff is said, and we have a better understanding of what the metaverse could be in the near future, we can also imagine the worst. I know that's not the way we should immediately think, but honestly, do you think it could be like in the movie Get Ready Player One, where people are all staying home in small houses, just spending all their time in virtual worlds fighting? Could it be like in the Black Mirror TV show, in this specific episode where everyone is riding as hell all day long to collect virtual money to buy new stuff like t-shirts for their avatars? If you have some opinions on that, please put some great comments below this video. The internet as we experience it today works because of standards and protocols for visual presentation, file loading, communications, graphics, data, and so forth. These include everything from consumer recognizable GIFs file types to the WebSocket protocol that underlies almost every form of real-time communication between a browser and other servers on the internet. The metaverse will require an even broader, more complex, and resilient set of SNPs. What's more, the importance of interoperability and live synchronous experiences means we'll need to prune some existing standards and standardize around a smaller set per function. Today, for example, there are a multitude of image file formats like GIF, JPEG, PNG, PMP, and so on. Amazon and Facebook and Google use similar technologies, but they aren't designed to transition into one another. Just as Ford's wheels aren't designed to fit in a GM chassis. In addition, these companies are incredibly resistant to cross-integrate their systems of sharing their data. Such moves might raise the overall value of the digital economy, but also weakens their hyper-valuable network effects and makes it easier for a user to move their digital lives elsewhere. This will be very difficult and take decades. And the more variable and interoperable the metaverse is, the harder it will be to establish industry-wide consensus around topics such as data security, data persistence, forward-compatible code evolution, and transactions. In addition, the metaverse will need altogether new rules for censorship, control of communications, regulatory enforcement, tax reporting, the prevention of online radicalization, and many more challenges that we're still struggling with today. We don't know exactly what the metaverse will need, let alone which existing standards will transfer over, how, and what effects, when, and through which applications and group. As a result, it's important to consider how the metaverse emerges, not just around with technical standard. At the core of the concept, a lot of people believe gaming engines like Unreal Engine 5 will be the platforms for building the metaverse. It's easy to think of the socialized digital worlds of Second Life and its VR successors, Linden Lab and High Fidelity, as models for a metaverse. But should the concept of the metaverse be limited to the capacity of gaming engines and not go beyond that media? Not so sure. Finally, you can see the metaverse as an interconnected array of virtual reality experiences, tools, and products. It's a singularity that includes within it the plurality of an infinite variety of virtual forms, not in the way that maps to the real universe it's named after, but according to whatever we as creators decide is useful or interesting enough to conjure up. And that's it, guys. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any opinion to share with others, you can post your comments below this video. Also, and as usual, and if not already done, please subscribe to my channel because I've got some great videos coming, and I would like you to stay tuned. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.